President of the Citizens First, Mr. Kalaba, thank you so much for joining us on this day tonight.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for having me. And it's a new year. Happy New Year to you. And Happy New Year to our viewers, wherever they're watching us from. It's good to be on this program.
We are slightly above 200 days to go before the country decides and goes to the polls. How prepared is the Citizens First?
The Citizens First has always known that there will be elections in a year like this one, 2026. So we are geared for the elections. Right now, as a preparatory phase, we are in the Chawama By-election where we have fielded a candidate. We are also in Kasama, mayor by-election there, where we have also fielded Aaron Zimba. So these elections for us are acting as preparations for the general elections. And we are taking them very seriously. Both elections, the CF is geared to win.
Do you think the outcome of these elections will give you a perspective of how prepared you are?
Already now, even before the elections or the voting is done, we have seen the gaps in the run-up to these by-elections. So us in the Citizens First, we now have an idea of what it means to run an election in a modern city, in a town center, place like Lusaka. So that is giving us an idea of what town by-elections or town elections might constitute. For us, it's an eye-opener at every stage. We are preparing for the elections in August.
Do you think the outcome of these elections will give us a litmus taste of what possibly might happen?
Well, it's yes and no, depending on the conduct of our colleagues. You know, like when you look at Chawama, this is a by-election. Everybody, there are 13 ministers of the UPND domiciled now in Chawama. There are trucks of millimil being always taken into Chawama, ferried into Chawama. Cooking oil, money is exchanging hands at a very alarming rate. So the people might be induced. Some voters might make their decisions on the basis of the fact that they have received something from the UPND. But in a general election, that luxury of having 13 ministers domiciled in Chawama will not be there. Because we have seen people coming, those who are aspiring in Kanyama are in Chawama, those aspiring in Matero have come in Chawama, those aspiring everywhere in Chawama. While in a general election, it will be each one for himself and God for us all. So the CF is not intimidated. The CF is not worried about whatever happens in Chawama, but we know that the people are on our side. And Chawama is going to tell the nation exactly that the CF is the party of choice.
You, as the opposition, have often said that the UPND have lost favor, have fallen short of the glory of the people along the line of rail, and Chawama presents itself as one test that could possibly show the UPND whether they are still popular or not. You speak of the fact that there's money exchanging hands. You raise allegations that there's millennium flocking into Chawama, and this might potentially induce the voters to vote otherwise. But don't you think you have a voter that is in Lusaka that can see beyond this inducement and to be able to make the right decision at the end of the day?
We are praying that not many are going to be hoodwinked by the constant supply of electricity in Chawama. We are praying that not many people are going to be duped by the fact that they are giving them millimil which they never receive. We are praying that many people are going to see through their actions because their concentration on Chawama has never been until there's a by-election. So if others, the little people that are going to be duped, we are praying ourselves that the majority will remain intact. And if the UPND in the most unlikely event won Chawama, in the most unlikely event won Chawama, it will not even worry me as a person or worry the party because we are seeing what they are doing, and what they are doing is not sustainable. Yes, we are in town. The voters in town don't want UPND. That's why the UPND cannot even get those votes or even 100 votes without doing what they're doing. It's all inducement. It's all inducement. So clearly it is telling you, even now, the same process right now, before the elections on Thursday, you can clearly see that they're having a hard time. That is why money has to flow. All these things have to flow in Chawama. And these are not allegations. These are things which are there. Everybody can see that millimil is being given. People are getting millimil and the 200 kwacha, millimil and the 200 kwacha. That is not worrying us. The Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Have you reported this before?
Of course, our teams have already reported to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. But we have an Electoral Commission of Zambia that always pays blind. It plays blind when it's UPND. But when it's another opposition political party, then they'll be busy issuing press statements. They better behave in this election period. They have to know that the playing field has to be leveled, and will not allow an electoral commission of Zambia that is partisan, not only in their talk, but also in their actions. We want an ECZ that is going to give the Zambian people a fair chance of electing their leaders, like we have seen in the past. It was ECZ that managed to change all these, to have all these transitions in place. We hope this ECZ of Madam Mwangala Zalomes will be credible enough to follow the will of the people.
I don't know what your response would be, but I've heard from the UPND National Chairman, Govt Lisoniso, and Honorable Ovia Samuel Tete that the millimil that is being taken into Chawama is for their foot soldiers as opposed to the electorates. I don't know if you've seen and what your response could be when that allegation was raised against them.
Well, I've not heard about it. I never thought that they have responded in that fashion. But I can tell you that if they responded in that fashion, it is laughable. And these are the kind of politics that should not be practiced in 2026. The UPND should have learned from the politics their friends were playing by PF. The people still taught them a lesson despite the politics they were playing. And they have continued using the same old playbook. They are getting their gains from that same book, which the PF was using. It will end badly for them in August. They can come to TV here, say whatever they want to say, but the people on the ground are able to see that the UPND survival. I mean, I have seen their behavior by UPND. They are corrupt to the core. We were with them in Mufiri. We defeated them in Lopososhin in Mufiri Ward. They were giving voters money, they were giving fertilizer, they brought DMMU, brought a tractor, is it a roads department or whatever department came to grade the road. They do all kinds of shenanigans because they want to show that they can play on the people's minds. I hope the people of Chawama will show them that even in poverty, there's dignity.
Coming to the Chawama parliamentary by-election, what message are you going with in Chawama? What are you telling voters? Because we have only about 2 to 3 months to go before Parliament is dissolved. What message is your candidate, and as you Citizens First, selling to the electorates in Chawama?
The CF is telling the people of Chawama that the last 4 years have been disastrous. The people have lost businesses in the last 4.5 years of the UPND government. People who are running barber shops have closed their doors. People who are running saloons have equally closed their doors. People who are running butcheries, people who were running welding machines and so on and so forth, have all closed their businesses because of lack of electricity. We have had a challenge in this country where this government was sitting idle. Even when we gave it ideas on how to end load shedding, they kept it to themselves and said Zambians are not a difficult breed. We'll give them power 5 months before the elections, and then after the elections we'll again take them back to 22 hours of load shedding. And we're telling the people of Chawama, the electricity that they're giving you now is fake. Don't even believe them. We're telling the people of Chawama, the minimum they are giving you now, it will stop immediately after the 15th of January. So don't take it seriously, just eat. But they need to learn a lesson that you cannot use the people for your own advantage. The people need to be respected. We are telling the people of Chawama, they promised you jobs. Where are the jobs they promised you? We are telling the people of Chawama, look, you have got Chawama Level 1 hospital. It's a hospital where you just go and they give you prescriptions to go and buy. No medicines in that hospital. It's like a white elephant. The people are saying they don't want those things. So people have read through the politics, poisonous politics of the UPND, and they're saying not this time. They have played enough games in the last 4 years. They have destroyed the lives of the people of Chawama in the last 4.5 years. Not anymore. Not even 2-3 months before the parliament is dissolved can we allow them. So the people are resolved, and they are going to meet the temerity of their actions on the 15th of January.
So you don't have any message for the people of Chawama, because what you're telling me now is the failures of the UPND, not your message.
No, I was telling you that the people have acknowledged these things in the past 4 years. For the Citizens First, they know. When we say that you people have been struggling with small-scale businesses, we have told them that when the Citizens First comes into government, the issue of load shedding, which you have been having for the last 4 years, is going to finish, because we are going to create a nuclear power plant, which I signed personally, when I was Foreign Affairs Minister. When I was Foreign Affairs Minister, I went to Russia, signed a bilateral agreement with the Russian Federation, where we said we are going to be producing 20,000 megawatts of power in order to help the electricity challenge in this country, but also to industrialize Zambia. We have told the people of Chawama, as big as it is, it should have an industry. This country has got a lot of things it produces. We produce soya chunks. Soya beans, but soya chunks are coming from elsewhere. We produce, even milk is being exported, is being imported. We are saying, as Citizens First, we want value addition to our raw materials when we come into government. We want to make sure that a youth on the streets of Chawama is empowered. We want to make sure that youth have got access to technical vocational training institutes so that they can be able to have skills to fight the challenges of life. We are telling the people of Chawama, when we come into government, the way you are seeing agriculture being mismanaged is not the way it will be mismanaged. When we come in, we want agriculture to talk for you. We want to go back to the days of Kenneth Kaunda, when agriculture was revered.
So
we want to make sure that the civil servants, we have told the civil servants, Chawama is full of civil servants, Andrew. We have told the civil servants, you have stayed for all this long without your salaries being upped. Government told you they don't have money to increase your salaries. They don't take you seriously. We as Citizens First will ensure, because me, as you know, I was a civil servant for 10 years. If there's anybody who understands what a civil servant goes through, it is the person we're talking to right now. So we have told them we'll give you an opportunity when we come.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is a broader message for the Citizens First, not for the Member of Parliament and what it's promising its people.
The Member of Parliament for Chawama, by the way, maybe you might not have known him very well. The Member of Parliament for Chawama is a resident of Chawama. He mourns with them when Chawama is mourning. He goes to weddings with them when Chawama is going for those functions. And so he is telling them, as a former councillor of that area for Chawama Ward 2, as a former deputy mayor, as a former district commissioner for Lusaka, and as a former permanent secretary for Muchinga, he is telling the people there in Chawama that I have stayed here in Chawama with you. I understand the problem of the drainages. The other day I was there, I was telling them, we had drainages blockages here. It was the time that I was councillor that I had to do the unblocking of these drainages. The drainages again are being blocked. When I come back, I'm going to start from where I ended. So he'll be working on those projects with them. He has taught them in the markets of Chawama. The last time they built toilets there was when he was the councillor there. And he's telling them, when I come, we need sanitary conditions improved. I'm going to improve the conditions for you. When I come here in Chawama, we need to have our medicines stocked at Chawama Level 1 Hospital. We'll make sure that medicines are brought here. He has said the youths here need a vocational training center here in Chawama where they can go and up their skills. He said Chawama has now been producing what the UPND is calling junks. Children that they have neglected, they have failed to give skill. Children they have failed to give a livelihood. He has said, and we have said as Citizens First, those are our first targets, to bring them and give them meaning to life. So it's a plate full of what our candidate will be doing in Chawama when he's elected after tomorrow.
Those monitoring our politics have suggested that you shouldn't have, as opposition, fielded in different candidates. Perhaps you should have gone with one candidate into Chawama so that you don't split the votes, because then this gives a much more upper hand for the UPND. I'd like to get your thoughts, Mr. President, on the fact that there's an urgent call for you as the opposition to unite, and you needed to show the UPND how much of a force you are to reckon with if united in Chawama and won that election.
The Citizens First, by the way, has always believed in unity because we believe that there's strength in unity. The English adage goes, united we stand, divided we fall. And we in the Citizens First have always believed that unity is strength. That is why the Citizens First even sought to be part of UCA, if you remember. We were in UCA for 1 year, 3 months. All because we were seeking unity of purpose. Before the Chawama elections filing in took place, I personally went to the home of the PF President, Honorable Lubinda. And I sat with him and said, look, we would want to see how we can collaborate I worked together. And in that meeting was my brother Fred member as well. We said we work together. Things never worked out. The CF will always reach out. But when things don't work out, don't you come to CF and tell them, CF, you didn't want unity. We in the Citizens Face have always been the ones reaching out and will continue reaching out to people. But when we see it is not working, the CF is not going to remain dormant. We have a manifesto. We have an agenda for this country. That agenda has to be fulfilled. And this myth of saying, no, you are giving advantage to the UPND, let's wait and see. I don't think we are giving any advantage to the UPND because in 2021, we stood as how many candidates? We were 16 candidates. 16 candidates. The incumbent, the late Edgar Lungu, tumbled to an opposition leader, despite the opposition being 16, because the people had zeroed in on one candidate. They said we are going with Hakainde Hichilema, although he has disappointed them terribly. I have always believed that even in 2011, when the PF was ushered into government, there were about 10 political parties, Andrew, if my memory can serve me right. But there was also MMD there. The people said we are going to vote for an opposition leader, Michael Sata. They left all these other parties, Wanawakwi, FDD, they left, I think, Wanevas Mumba, and all those, they all lost in that process. The people settled for one candidate. If the opposition will not unite, in the words of an independent editorial I was reading the other day, if the people will not unite, the opposition will not unite, the people will unite around one common candidate. Because history tells us it happened in 2011, it happened in 2021, it is going to happen this year in 2026.
Others would argue with you that even the PF that won in 2011 was an alliance. Even the UPND won as an alliance. And so there was some form of unity from within the opposition that enabled them to win that election.
But I'm giving you the numbers that the PF was in an alliance, but these other parties were not part of that alliance. That's why we were 16, We were 16. In 2011, the PF was in which alliance? Because the PF, I don't remember it being an alliance, because there was an alliance which broke, and the PF stood on its own in 2011. So the people will still choose a party of choice. The Zambians now know Harry Kalaba is there. Harry Kalaba stood in the 2021 elections. We have traversed this country selling our message of unity, selling our message of working together, selling our message of cohesion. And so the people have come to know us. We have come to know them. We understand the challenges across the breadth and width of this country.
Yeah.
And we are supremely confident that if it comes to that, the people will make the right decision.
The country tonight is probably hearing this for the first time, President Kalaba, that you sat down with acting president of the Patriotic Front, Given Winda, and leader of the Socialist Party, Dr. Freddie Member, to discuss a potential collaboration in Chawama. Would like to find out what went wrong in that discussion. Why couldn't you agree in principle?
I think I would say that what went wrong was that is the time that we had Bill number 7 coming out on the floor of the House. The timelines we had given one another, I think, could not be adhered to strictly. Parties, Central Committee members of individual political parties were meeting, and they had to make decisions because the filing in of nominations was happening on a Tuesday. So I think time was not an ally of that endeavor we wanted to pursue. But I think also there was the issue of agreeing on a candidate. What is important is that an attempt by the CF was made. And I believe this attempt did not just end at that by-election. Comrade Lubinda and I still talk. And I'm confident that even as we go in the future, where I come from, they say, the people will tell us to say, okay, I think maybe you people, this is what you ought to do. This is the path you need to follow. If the people say that, they are the masters, we better follow.
The UPND has been described as a very bold government and a very bold political party.
By who?
Because 8 months into an election, they instill constitutional changes that are going to affect our constitution. Bill 7 was one bill that was highly rejected by civil society organizations, even you as your opposition political players. But in the end, it received overwhelming support by members of the of parliament, both from the ruling party and those from the opposition. Others have described that particular victory by the UPND government as one that will make them win the elections of 2026, because they say that if a government manages to pass a very sensitive bill like that of Bill 7, then it means that the people are on their side. Do you see any relationship between constitutional changes in an election year or close to an election year and possibly a win for that government that has changed the constitution?
I'll tell you that there is no correlation whatsoever. I don't know if you followed the president in Chawama. He was in Chawama and he said he managed to dribble the Zambian populace by having Bill 7 passed in the House. That's the way he used himself. So when you say they were bold by passing those, I think you said they were very manipulative by doing what they did. Now, that as it may be, I would want to report to you, sir, that the UPND has an uphill battle going into the elections, because they might have won Bill 7 on the floor of the House, but they've lost the people. The people know the UPND is manipulative. And thank God the president, because Tabai ikatana sana president wesu. He's not one that can hold himself. What does he do? He reviews, he lets the cat out of the bag, and he helps us understand that so it was by cohesion, it was by manipulation that thing passed. Now we know his character. Now we know his behavior. So the people of Zambia now know that Bill 7 passed as a result of a manipulative president. A president who doesn't listen to the people. A president who wants only his wishes to be done. And so they'll make the judgment come August 13th. And I'm sure they'll punish him. Mr. Ichilema, for avoidance of doubt, Andrew, is going to lose the elections this year. He's going out. Mr. Ichilema is losing the elections because he has got no business continuing being a president when he has let this country down. He has betrayed this country and he is fired.
Who is he losing the elections to?
He's losing the elections to the person I'm talking to right now. Mr. Ichilema thinks I'm joking, and together with the people supporting him. When I say I am becoming president this year, people think I'm just talking the talk. I'm becoming president this year because that's what the people of Zambia have said.
What gives you the confidence?
I have gone around the country. There's no province that we have left as citizens first. We've gone around the country. We have sold our message. And our message of hope is resonating with them. Our message of, dedicating our cause to the cause of the people is going right with the people. So, as our party's name goes, Citizens First, we believe that the citizens must be front-loaded. The citizens have not been front-loaded. We have seen businessmen and women lose their businesses in this country because Mr. Ichilema and his party have preferred foreigners to indigenous Zambians. We have seen that Zambian businessmen and women have been priced out of business as a result of a government that does not give them incentives. We are going to stop that. When we come into government, we will ensure, as I've said before, any contracts that are a DA there will be giving out below $20 million and below. Any contracts of that nature will be reserved for Zambians. We want Zambians to be empowered. If we discover that you, a Zambian who is entitled to receiving that part of an incentive, you have colluded with somebody who is not an indigenous Zambian, we will coin what we have said will be coined economic sabotage, and you'll be in trouble with us. We want Zambians empowered. We want Zambians to have the means of production. We want Zambians to be in charge of their own destinies, to anaka, with outsiders managing the affairs of our country through the back door. It's gonna be over.
The president has challenged you to give alternatives to what you would do in place of free education, what you would do in place of debt restructuring, what you would do in place of CDF that has been increased now to 40 million kwacha. He says this, you hear him say that. Ask the opposition what alternative they have to free education.
I mean, thank you for giving that opportunity, Andrew. Let me tell the president that let me help you actually understand that the Constituency Development Fund, which it talks about as if it is manna which has fallen from heaven, is an idea that was mooted in Senegal. And CDF was meant to ease the pressure of the bureaucracy of governance. That was all it was meant for. It was not meant to say you are going to receive money from line departments, line government agencies, and give a constituency development committee which does not even have the staff to even expend that money. That is why it's a huge flop, because when you give a constituency development fund, a constituency office, which has got no staff to run 48 million or 40 million kwacha in a year, they are failing to absorb it. They are failing to expend it. Why? Because there is no structure. The citizens first coming in government believes that decentralization is what will bring development in this country. But decentralization must be a gradual process. It must be one that is going to beef staff where monies are going to go. It must be one that is going to ensure that services will easily be given to people, because that is the whole purpose of centralization.
So you suspend the current?
No. The CDF is going to be there, but it's going to be reviewed in the manner it is being handled and applied, because right now it is poorly handled because of lack of experience from Mr. Ichilem and his team. The second thing that's going to happen when we talk about the issue of free education, we in the Citizens First have said that the free education that we are seeing now is very different from the free education that Dr. Kaunda and some of us went through. I was in a class, remember Andrew, when I was growing up, I grew up just here in Lusaka, going to Lusaka Boys, you know, and I remember that the person who was doing our gardening at home had a son, because my father was minister in Kaunda's government. He had a son, and that son was with me in the same class at Lusaka Boys. In the same class at Lusaka Boys. And that gentleman, Jack, I still remember his name, Jack, he was a friend of mine. He was even much sharper than myself even. You know, they used to put us in Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and even in Division 1, the first one who was higher would sit on the front row, then the one who came, I remember I was in Division 1 myself, but Jack was sitting at the very first desk there because he was getting higher marks than myself. He was sitting in front there, and I think I was number 3 from him, but also in Division 1. The point I'm trying to drive home is that is the free education I know. Dr. Kaunda's children, one of his children was in Ikeleng. He used to travel from Lusaka those days with a road network, going to Ikeleng to study. That was free education. The free education we are seeing now is where you have people's children, permanent secretaries' children, DC, minister, free education. Their children are not at Mumuni. Their children are not at Lusaka Boys. Their children are not at Lusaka Girls, or they are not at Jacaranda. They are at other schools because they themselves are saying the classes are too overcrowded. That is an issue the Citizens First in government will deal with. We'll continue with the policy of free education. We'll even take it beyond. We want to have free education at university. We want to ensure that the process, the whole chain, is giving advantage to everybody so that we can be on the same footing.
But how do you intend to finance free education at university?
Very good. That is what now takes me to the issue which you had asked me as a third issue, on the issue of debt restructuring. I didn't answer it as a second issue. I left it for the last because debt restructuring in the manner it has been done has not even helped you and I. It's been copy, cut, and paste. Debt restructuring, which you cannot use self-financing, is cheap. We are going to look at the mines. Remember, it is the mines that have built this country. Most of the mines that we're talking about today have been as a result of mines from copper. God, in his infinite wisdom, has continued giving us resources. God has given us now gold. We now have cobalt. We have emeralds all over the place. And yet, nobody talks about those things. When I become president this year, when CF forms government, we will ensure that the mines begin working for the people. Even the free education we're talking about is supposed to be financed by the mines because that's where our resources are. And yet, these people in UPND have gone ahead to give tax holidays. They have gone ahead to reduce the mineral royalty tax from the 6% they found it. They have taken it to 3%. We have lost revenue in the mines. And the financial slippages in the mining sector is what the citizens first in government will close. Once we close those financial slippages, the monies that are not being accounted for. Just 2 years ago, you remember we were embarrassed that the Chinese declared that we had given them much more copper from our country than the Bank of Zambia declared here. It is because of those slippages that we have failed to account for resources. We will account for resources. We are going to make sure that a body like we had MEMACO in the past, which was a metal marketing body. MEMACO's job was to see that what is mined and what is being exported are in conformity. The CF in government will ensure that that is done and that the monies which are supposed to be paid to Zambians are paid in Zambia. I was saying the other day, no, now we are going to be 60%, it will be in dollars, 25% will be in kwacha. If you want your kwacha to be strong, if you want your kwacha to be arrogant, let the things be paid in kwacha. You have the product. Let me become president. That is an issue of review.
Mr. President, speaking about the kwacha that you're speaking about, the past few days, it's performing as one of the world's best performing currencies. And this has been attributed to the good policies that the UPND have put in place.
Like which ones?
I'd like to find out. For example, the export tracking framework, as one of the key policies that government mentions, the copper prices now that have boomed, as one of the key indicators that are causing this upward bullying that the kwacha is having against other convertible currencies. I'd like to find out whether this excites the opposition or frustrates you.
I'll tell you that the appreciation of the kwacha is cosmetic, very cosmetic. We are dealing with people who want to show that something is happening even when there is nothing happening. What will give the kwacha value, what will give the kwacha arrogance of strength is just what I've been telling you. It is an issue of exporting more. It is an issue of us value adding. Dr. Kaunda's kwacha was strong because Kaunda was value adding. We are making glass in this country. We are making ceramic tiles in this country. We're still making them, I know. We were adding value to literally everything that we are producing on timber and so on and so forth. The levels of value addition in this country have cascaded down to levels we've never known before. The CF in government will ensure that Zambia exports more. We value add more on our products. But the current efficacy or the current strength of the kwacha is basically because the kwacha is being held somewhere. There is no money in the market. There's no money on the market.
What about the copper prices that have gone high?
No, Andrew. I think this is something that our viewers and all of us here should understand. Copper is not sold like the way we sell tomato. Copper is sold in advance. So, if the copper prices today at the London Metal Exchange, the prices are now at maybe, let's say, $15,000 per metric ton. At the time we were selling, if it was $9,000 per metric ton, that is the money. Even if today that is what LME price is reflecting, we were still paid the same money 6 months ago because copper is sold in advance. Probably for the whole of this year, copper was already sold. So it cannot be one of the factors. And I want the economists to tell us, because from what I know as a former minister of government, I know very well that copper is not sold like charcoal on the market. No. The UPND is trying to play games on the mind of Zambians that the kwacha is now stable. The kwacha is now bullying other convertible currencies. It is a cosmetic strength, which strength will soon melt in front of all of us. Let us wait and see.
Wait and see for that. Let's talk about, in the few minutes we're remaining with, like I mentioned earlier, as I was opening the program, that we have slightly over 200 days to go before the elections. Are you foreseeing from where you're sitting, President Kalaba, you as the opposition uniting with one voice ahead of these elections?
I will tell you that the Citizens First has always advocated for unity for political parties. But if the parties don't come together, the people themselves will rally around one candidate. That is going to happen. Whether we like it or not, that is going to happen. And the people have given us chance to be fair to one another. So I am asking my fellow leaders in the opposition. The people are talking there. The people are asking us to come together. Let us listen to what the people are saying. If we don't allow our people to have their say that we should come together and we go on our own paths, they themselves will judge and they will say, let's go this direction. They will decide.
Are you a difficult person to work with?
No. That's why I've been telling you. I'm always reaching out, always doing that, because that is who we are. We want to work with everybody. And being difficult to work with, maybe it's just that principle guides everything in what we do. We are a principled political party. We are a party that understands that Zambia is in ruins and we need to give people a chance. Allowing the UPND another 5 years of governance will be catastrophic beyond the imaginable proportions that the country subject itself to. We should not even afford that costly experiment.
In an event that the opposition had to unite, what do you think would be, in principle, the standard terms of reference?
Well, that's a hypothetical question, and it's difficult for me to deal with a hypothetical question. Let's cross the bridge when we reach there.
You seem to have a very cranky relationship with the minister responsible for information and media, Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa. What is happening between the two of you? Because it seems to be an exchange of words. He described you to be a baby in politics that needs a lollipop for New Year.
Look, Cornelius Mwetwa, as I told you earlier, Cornelius Mwetwa is not a serious person. And it's you people who are taking him seriously. Mr. Mwetwa is his chief government spokesperson, but he has been overtaken by those young guys who are calling themselves media directors, right, left, and center. He should have sat down to see, why are these people all excited and hungry for my job? And as I advised him last time, Mr. Mwetwa, if you are listening to me, please, there's a young man there, I heard that there's a guy called Trevor Mwinde. This Trevor Mwinde guy is my youth chairman of UPND, or deputy youth chairman. He's the one Mr. Kainde Ichile Manawi is supporting. He's giving him money, giving him materials to go and remove Mr. Mwetwa. But Mwetwa is busy talking about Kalaba. And yet, his boss is busy talking to that Kama youth deputy chairman. And people love that boy in Choma. So Mwetwa stands no chance in, this is his last term, the last 3 months in that office. So you should understand him. He's got that issue of saying, I'm going, I don't know why I'm standing. We wish him well. For us in the CF, if Mr. Mwetwa is not adopted in the UPND in Choma, the CF might consider looking at his CV. So he better sees Mr. Chin to the SG. The earlier he does that, the better.
What would be your word of hope to the millions of Zambians that are looking to the Citizens First as the next alternative? What are you telling the people in Southern Province, in Eastern Province, on the Copper Belt, and across the country regarding the Citizens First and how prepared you are?
We are telling the people out there that nothing beats unity. We are coming to government not to divide the country. We are coming to government to preach unity. Dr. Kaunda spent 27 years in government. He might have done a lot of wrongs, but one thing that Dr. Kaunda did was to bring unity in this country. There must be unity in diversity. Whether you come from Southern Province, whether he comes from Western, Luapula, or Northern, or Eastern, or wherever you come from, for as long as you are in this Zambia, 752,000 square kilometers, you are part of that, you must be given the same opportunity like everybody else. Our regions must not be a point of division. Our regions must be a point of strength. Because someone coming from Eastern Province must be complemented by another person coming from Western Province. We are a country that should celebrate our cultural heritage. Culture, tribe, must never be used against one another. Zambia has never known that. And when we come into government, we are going to criminalize talking like the way the president was talking. He was very careless in the manner he was talking in Choma concerning the tribalism, and we will not allow that. We are asking him to stop it. Let him not divide this country. We are a country of one accord. I am married from Eastern Province. I don't know where you are married from. Somebody else is married from Southern Province. Another one, I have got 3 of my brothers married from Southern Province. My sister is married from Western Province. Another sister is married in. So you see that we have intermarried. Our nephews don't know what Mr. Ichilema is trying to talk about in Chawama. So we say no to that. Let us hold hands despite our differences. And you know, being in different political persuasions must not be the reason for us to begin using our regional affiliations to divide us. Despite us being in different political persuasions, we must always speak unity, because unity is key.
President of the Citizens First, Mr. Harry Kalaba, wish you the best in Chawama and ahead of the elections in 2026 in August.
Thank you very much. We are going to go in Chawama to fight and win. We are going into the elections in August very prepared, knowing that we've got a lot of support behind us going in the August 13, 2026 elections. For our people out there, be calm. Let us talk unity. Let us hold hands. Let us not allow anybody to divide us. United we stand, divided we fall. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Very grateful.